I work as a software developer in Portland, and my schedule is relentless. Endless deadlines, video calls that drag into the night, and that constant hum of screens that never quite shuts off. So when my old college buddy Liam messaged about a getaway to a secluded cabin on Echo Lake in the Pacific Northwest, I jumped at it without a second thought. It was meant to be a small group. Me, Liam, his partner Riley, her co-worker Sam, and a pair I'd only heard about through stories, Ethan and Clara. 5 days of unplugging crisp autumn air and no agenda beyond recharging. I'd been burning out, staring at code until my eyes blurred, and this felt like the reset I desperately craved. We arrived on a Wednesday evening just as the sun dipped behind the jagged peaks. The cabin nestled in a hidden inlet on the lake's western shore, surrounded by dense evergreens that muffled the outside world. No neighboring lights pierced the darkness from the water's edge. The lake stretched out like a mirror, reflecting the fading twilight, and the air carried the sharp scent of fir and damp earth. The place had a vintage charm. Worn wooden beams, mismatched chairs around a stone hearth, and a pantry stocked with basics that hummed softly from an ancient cooler. The front veranda offered a panoramic view that forced you to pause, inhaling the tranquility. It seemed idyllic. The initial days unfolded lazily. Craft brews by the fire pit, simple meals thrown together, swimming until our fingers wrinkled, and board games that escalated into rowdy debates under the stars. We shared playlists that looped familiar tunes, roasted snacks over open flames, and swapped exaggerated tales that dissolved into giggles echoing over the still water. We teased Liam for double-checking the locks each night. Afraid of forest spirits crashing your cuddle session, I'd quip. He'd chuckle, but I caught him placing a lantern on the nightstand afterward. On the third evening, I wandered to the shoreline solo while the others lingered over leftovers. The group was still winding down from a day of hiking, but I craved a moment alone with the fading light. That's when I spotted the lantern. It hung from a low branch near the water's edge, an old-fashioned oil one, rusted but functional, swaying gently as if recently set. We hadn't packed anything like it, and the rental description mentioned no such amenities. Perhaps a hiker had left it, or it had washed ashore but the wick was damp, as though extinguished moments ago, not crusted with lake grime from drifting aimlessly. Intrigued, I unhooked it and twisted the base open, half expecting debris or insects. Instead, a folded note tumbled out, creased and slightly moist. Unfolding it revealed a sketch. Our group from earlier that afternoon lounging by the fire pit. Details jumped out. The patterned blanket Riley had spread. Ethan's signature hat tilted back. Me gesturing mid-story. It was drawn from across the lake, through the trees, unobserved. A chill unrelated to the cooling air prickled my skin. I didn't share it immediately. Part of me suspected a joke. Maybe Sam pulling a fast one with their artistic skills. I tucked the note into my jacket and mentioned the lantern casually during dessert. Ethan dismissed it as leftover from previous renters. Riley wondered if it was a local custom. Liam, focused on stoking the fire, barely reacted. But throughout the evening, my gaze drifted to the tree line, ears straining for rustles amid the night sounds. The sense of exposure gnawed at me, subtle yet insistent, like eyes lingering too long in a crowded room. Later, as we gathered around the flames, Liam queued up some ambient tracks, and I positioned myself facing the woods, sipping slowly. At one point, Sam headed inside for more drinks, and I trailed behind under the pretense of helping. Peering through the side window, I swore I glimpsed a shadow dart between trunks. Not animal-like, more deliberate, human. I kept quiet. By bedtime, I revisited the shore. The lantern had vanished, not toppled or drifted. The branch bore no mark, as if it had never hung there. The hook I'd noticed earlier floated loose in the shallows. I scanned the lake's surface, moonlight fracturing on tiny waves. Empty. Returning indoors, I debated alerting the others, but opted against it, rationalizing it as a neighbor's retrieval or a forgotten rental item. The following morning, I raised the lantern again. Clara suggested it might belong to nearby campers. The group shrugged it off, more eager for a boat outing. Their nonchalance irked me, amplifying my unease. On our final full day, we tidied up, wiping counters, folding linens, and loading gear. During a last walkthrough, something snagged my attention on the veranda railing. Another sketch, pinned beneath a stone. Similar vantage, slightly nearer. Us by the flames the previous night. Liam strumming a guitar we'd found in the cabin, Sam mid-laugh. I was turned slightly, eyes toward the darkness. I studied it, heart pounding, then pocketed it beside the first without a word. I still possess those drawings. Late nights, I examine the edges for clues. A silhouette, a hint, just a lantern, just sketches. Yet someone observed us intimately, near enough to capture expressions, silent enough to approach undetected. And they returned. I'm pragmatic by nature. Code doesn't lie, logic prevails. But that weekend eroded something, leaving a persistent whisper of vulnerability. I'm a nurse practitioner in Atlanta, handling everything from routine checkups to emergency room overflows. Chaos is my baseline, fevers spiking, wounds needing stitches, patients in distress. It toughens you, filters out the trivial fears. If it's not critical, I compartmentalize. But the incident at that rental on Willow Reservoir, it lingers, insidious, surfacing in quiet moments like a shadow in peripheral vision or a creak in an empty house. I'd been pulling overtime for months, exhaustion seeping in like fog. My older brother Jordan insisted on a break. He scouted a modest chalet online. Lakeside, basic amenities, solid feedback. It promised serenity. I agreed blindly, packing light for the drive up. We pulled in Thursday midday, the path winding through oak groves to a gentle decline. The air hummed with cicadas and carried an earthy musk. No visible neighbors, just foliage framing the reservoir's sparkle. The chalet charmed with its quirks. Retro decor, expansive glass panels, a balcony encircling the structure, and quirky taxidermy birds perched on shelves. It exuded a lived-in warmth, tidy yet inviting. Jordan quipped it resembled a nature enthusiast's retreat reimagined by a thrift store curator. We claimed rooms, stowed gear, and unwound. A door midway down the corridor stood sealed, marked private maintenance. Do not enter. We shrugged it off. Jordan smirked, prime set up for a thriller flick. We chuckled, uncorked a bottle, heated quick meals, and lounged on the balcony till dusk chilled us. That night, around 3 a.m., unease jolted me awake. The chalet's hush felt oppressive, amplified. Then, a faint gurgle emerged, not plumbing's steady drip, more irregular, like liquid swirling in a container. I dismissed it as settling pipes, rising to investigate. Kitchen clear, restroom dry, no anomalies in the utility area. Passing the sealed door en route back, the sound repeated. Swirl, halt, swirl, like agitating a half-full vessel. I lingered, palm against the wood. It ceased. Attributing it to reservoir echoes or thermal shifts, I returned to bed. Come morning, I stayed silent, blaming sleep fog. But over tea on the balcony, Jordan glanced up. Odd one. Did you catch that sloshing sound overnight? My pulse quickened. You heard it too? He affirmed, mistaking it for my showering. We dropped it, venturing out for a town errand and reservoir paddling. Blissful, sun warming skin, sporadic canoes gliding by, disconnection absolute. Evening brought grilling, puzzles, early retirement. The chalet enveloped us in calm, a hidden haven. Yet dawn shattered it. While rinsing dishes, a stain caught my eye at the sealed door's base. Not shadow, a pooling dampness inching outward. Kneeling, I touched. Chilled, viscous. Jordan. He approached, alertness sharpening. Wasn't there before? I fetched cloths, stemming the spread. Minimal volume yet baffling, no rain, no adjacent pipes evident. I dialed the listing contact, a woman named Lena. She sounded puzzled. Impossible. That space is secured, no utilities inside. But here I am, facing seepage. She urged avoidance, promising owner follow-up. No callback came. Hours ticked, the damp expanded. House checks yielded no leaks. Jordan declared, "We're checking it." I wavered. Instructions were clear, but logic won, ignoring a potential flood risked damage. We improvised with a thin wire from the toolkit coaxing the mechanism. It yielded reluctantly. Opening unleashed a musty chill, like refrigerated soil mixed with reservoir tang. Frigid, unnaturally so. The chamber was compact, closet-sized, floor slick with inches of fluid that undulated faintly, as if disturbed recently. No sources apparent. Walls parched, ceiling unmarked. Contents sparse, crates along the rear, a stool, coiled rope. But the opposite pane drew us. Ajar slightly, droplets tracing the sill, suggesting recent entry by something saturated. Jordan advanced cautiously as I surveyed, then slung over the stool. A tattered raincoat, antique style, perhaps from mid-century explorers, drenched, flecked with silt or growth, reeking of stagnant depths and rot. We froze, untouched. Incongruous. The lock intact from within, no trails outward. Yet intrusion evident. Words failed us post-discovery. We concurred, departure imminent. Bags assembled swiftly, no lingering for explanations. Key left, engine started, Atlanta bound. That coat haunts, mundane yet abandoned abruptly. No rationale from leaner or owner. Whatever breached that pain sought concealment, and we exposed it. Any retreat, any timing but ours. I'm Marcus, 42. Recently pivoted from corporate consulting to freelance writing, chasing that elusive book idea I'd shelved amid client demands. The hustle had worn me thin. My spouse of a decade, Harper, proposed isolation therapy. She unearthed a serene lodge on Aspen Pond in the Rockies. Off-peak for affordability, minimal crowds. We sought clarity, a mental cleanse. Arrival came early November, foliage crisp underfoot, air laced with impending frost. The lodge perched in a forested nook off a winding dirt track encircling the pond. No adjacent dwellings from the deck, merely timber, heavens, and reflective expanse. Breathtaking, almost undeserved. Before entry, the bird feeders struck us. Flanking the entry, meticulously filled with seed husks fresh beneath. Grains glistened, recently replenished, not weathered. Harper inspected. "This is new." Someone's been attentive. We assumed host prep. Interior matched ads, snug, timbered, book-laden nooks, a broad hearth, and a nook overlooking the pond I dubbed my workspace. I phoned the overseer, Gale, appreciating the feeders. She paused. Haven't dispatched anyone. Last occupants departed June. Certain? Aromas fresh like just stocked. No local team nearby, nearest site hours away. Odd, but perhaps community kindness. Rural quirks. Day one, unpacking, pond stroll, casual supper. Surreal calm, unaccustomed to such hush. Evening, fireside, soft melodies, volumes from shelves. Near midnight, absorbed in pages, a rustle outside, twigs snapping rhythmically, not frantic, measured. We muted sound, Harper peering through drapes. Anything? Negative. Wildlife. Then it circled nearer, snap, shuffle. Lights dimmed, we tensed. Harper fetched a beam, donned shoes, ventured out. I monitored from glass, returned shortly. Empty, no traces. Uneasy laughter ensued. Dawn. Coffee in hand, I nearly dropped it. Adjacent to initial feeders, another pair, brimming identically. Harper emerged, halted. Not there pre-bed. Prolonged stare. Thoughts unspoken. Proximity unchallenged. Rationales surfaced. Gale erred. Regional tradition. We proceeded. Trail wander, dock picnic, light-hearted banter on our secret admirer evolving to gourmet deliveries. Tension eased temporarily. Nightfall, past 1 a.m., recurrence, snap, interval, distant clink, metallic. Harper whispered, "That's a scoop." Vigil ensued, illuminated. Harper deck-bound with a tool, me observing. Nada. Morning. Third feeders, near entry. Gale contacted again. Sheriff promised. Officer Reyes arrived, surveyed, queried. No sightings? Just feeders? Routine probes then. Old-timer roamed these parts, bird enthusiast, vanished years ago. Assumed relocated, but trailed. Bart. Pressed. Call if escalates. Debate. Depart. Harper advocated one more night. Normalcy feigned, meal prep, games, fitful rest. 4 a.m., faint pecking at pain. Drapes parted, void, morning. No additions. But Harper's scarf, left entry side, nestled in newest feeder, moist, seed-scented. Decisive, silent packing, abrupt exit. Gale message checkout. Unexplained. Weeks on, dismissed as eccentric local. Mountains avoided since. Call me Elena. Retired educator, unflappable after decades herding classrooms. Post-career, my husband and I chose tranquility on Mirror Bay's Oregon flank. Modest abode waterside, timber frame, groaning planks, veranda lake facing. Secluded wooded rear, bay expanse front. No close kin, gardening, reading pursuits. Dubbed Calm Haven, serene till it commenced. Mid-September 2023. Awoke 5 a.m., atypical. Chill penetrated, denser than seasonal. Mist blanketed, obscuring bay edges. Kitchen vigil. A wail pierced, not casual. Distant, urgent, rebounding through haze. Froze attuned. Another, subdued, pleading. Alerted husband, indoors he remained. Coat grabbed, veranda bound. Scanned. Opacity total, bay flat. Emergency dial, explained auditory. Response. Shorty nearby, they'd scout. Veranda wait. Silence. Team queried. No anomalies, no vessels, no signals. Acoustics warp in mist, perhaps remote origin. Day normal, rationalizes far shore or wildlife. Husband teased owl mimicry. Evening. Mist surged, engulfing to screens, silencing ambience. 10 p.m. garage securing ripple nearby. Another, proximate. Beam seized shoreward, midway thud against spear post. Beam down, calm surface. Then, imprints, sodden, on planks from waterline. Bare, humanoid, halting midway, evaporating. Retreated husband noted pallor. Queries withheld. Secured all. Dim rest. Dawn. No remnants. Authorities. Baseless claim. Shore cam reviewed. Wildlife only. No bay capture. Unnerving. Days later. Reprise wail. Indoors stayed beam ready. Echoed diminished. Grey dawn watch. Mist recurrent. Not nightly. Fortifications, bolts, sensors. Veranda shunned dusk on. Beam bedside. Local fisher queried. Hushed. Not novel. Bay ancient rules its own. Lights constant. Ignore aquatic calls. Guests. Sibling pair weekend. Concealed. Miss premature. Dining veranda. Distant gurgle. Sibling queried fall in. Denied. Kin to inspect. Halted. Perhaps. Otter. Post bed. Window vigil. Beam clutched. 1 a.m. Pads on veranda. Deliberate, damp, immobile, curtain intact, faded. Morning, sensor inactive, no marks, pier drenched anomalously. Husband, relocate, echoed sentiment. Now mist evokes vigil, window chair, beam lap, bay whitening, pier untouched since. If these bay tales unsettle seclusion, ponder when aid falters, tap like, subscribe, share nightmare tactics. And if authority reassures, next clip shatters that. View 4 chilling tales where help proved futile. Sometimes, we see nothing terrifies most. Stay vigilant, secure, till next shadow.